Victor's in concussion protocol, but is he being examined for anything beyond that?
No.
Did he have to go to the hospital, or was he x-rayed here? Or?
I don't believe any of that. I just know he has a concussion and he's in the protocol, and we'll obviously take the proper and appropriate steps.
How's Harrison?
I think he's okay. I think it was more maybe wind, but I didn't get the full messaging on all what happened there. I couldn't tell if he was holding his hand or his chest, but he said he needed a sub.
Coach, in terms of the defensive game plan without Wemby, obviously he's such a huge part of what you guys do on both ends of the floor, but defensively, how do you guys plan to just, obviously tonight you went small, some you had Lukin, but how do you guys overall plan to adjust without Wemby if he has to miss some time?
Yeah, we've played without Victor this year. When you look at the numbers in terms of, they shot 42.2% from the field, 34 from three, got 23 free throws. That's not bad when you're just talking about a defensive effort. They got 24 points off our turnovers, and they got 23 second chance points. So those would probably be the two areas I'd start with, and still scored 106 points. We didn't give up 150 or anything like that. I thought the guys actually fought their butts off, did a really good job. Obviously some things we can get shored up on and be better at in terms of closing out possessions and then having some cleaner offense so it allows us to set our half-court defense.
There were also a few good moments when you guys played with four guards with Devin, Dylan, and the other guys. In terms of like the speed and attention to detail, how important was it to see those guys perform at that level? And do you expect to play more of that in the coming days?
Yeah, I thought they did a good job. We had some combinations out there that were a little unique, I guess, in terms of foul trouble, and then obviously having different rotation and trying to keep guys fresh. Portland really forces you to output a lot of energy, and so I thought it was important to try our best to kind of keep guys fresh and keep spinning them because of the toll of output energy that took to deal with the pressure, try to rebound, guard, and rebound again. And that's something, I could probably be better in the next game. But I thought they did a good job, and I thought when we played with pace and, the right connectivity in terms of game plan execution, we did a nice job.
Yeah, Coach, obviously difficult to deal with a mid-game injury, but when you compare the way they played to start the game one, versus tonight, did you notice anything different? Did they settle in right away when we're talking about nerves and playoffs and things like that?
Are you talking about Portland or us?
You guys.
I thought we were a little, to be honest, actually in a way not as poised as we were in game one. I felt like the game one was as much the energy of the building and the circumstances, and I thought tonight we weren't quite as sharp to start the game. And they made some shots, but it just felt a little not on the same page, I guess, and unorganized, and we'll be better in game three.
Coach, this is Carolina with Spurfict. I wanted to get your thoughts on the jump ball at the end of the game. And earlier this season, you mentioned there was things that the team can control. So what kind of communication helps everyone stay aligned when things start to feel like they're getting a bit out of control?
Yeah, I definitely know I showed some emotion and frustration there because I felt like they blew the whistle on the catch. And their explanation was that it was a bad toss. And I guess my frustration was just if it was a bad toss, I felt like they should have called it on the toss. They threw the ball. It felt like it got tipped or maybe two people touched it. And then Kamara, who was in the jump ball, grabbed it. And that's against the rules for the people in the jump ball to gain possession first. And so that was what I was looking for an explanation for. And then when I didn't get what I wanted to hear, there wasn't time, then I tried to move on, and I thought our guys did too. They obviously made a shot off that, but I thought they actually responded well. I'll have to go back and look at the play. I don't know if there was something we should have done better off the jump ball, but those things are going to happen, and you got to move on to the next play.
Mitch, throughout the season, your three guards, they've always been able to find a way to like get to their bucket in the late fourth quarter. But the Blazers' defensive size and toughness is great. Like, what do you think those last few minutes there with like Steph trying to find a separation, Fox trying to find a separation? What do you guys need to learn from like just how tough it is to score in the postseason on these guys?
Yeah, I think one, you give a lot of credit to Portland, the staff and their game plan, and then their players, because obviously, to your point, they have some guys that can create some resistance and stay attached to you. And I think, there'll be some things that we can help try to get our guys some space and momentum without having to be on the ball, trying to create so much action all the time. And then it looked like there was a level of fatigue there that, kicked in just in terms of the intensity of the game and some of the output in minutes that guys had to play. And that's a playoff game. That's what it's going to feel like. And I think there's a lot to learn.
Mary Rominger, KSAT 12. Can you talk about what you saw from Stephon Castle, how the game started? He was clearly really being physical by Portland and just how he responded and went on to play.
Yeah, I thought he imposed his competitiveness on the game. I thought he matched the physicality and the personality of the game in terms of the way that the game was being reffed and the way that the game was being played. I thought he did a really good job of just meeting the game where it was at and working the game. And I think there's going to be a lot of things that he'll continue to learn. It's his second playoff game and I think his third game in a few weeks. So continuing to get back into that game shape and seeing what these games feel like, because they definitely feel different than the 82 that we just got done playing. And just have the takeaways and the carryover lead to improvement moving forward.
What kind of challenges or trouble did Scoot Henderson present for you guys?
Well, he always plays hard. He made a lot of shots, and so have to go back and look at, the quality of them and what we participate in terms of giving him maybe some undisciplined shots in terms of our participation in it, but played really well. I mean, he obviously made shots and he always competes defensively, so that'll be something we'll just have to go back and watch the tape and see, where we can be better.
Mitch, with no Vic, as has been the case throughout the season, you did go to a Carter Bryant as the big. What did you think of that, and is that something that you think you'll continue to look at if Vic is not able to play in the next couple games?
Yeah, I think, we definitely have gone to it, and I think we'll have to kind of sit down as a staff and really think about the game holistically. And, can we get through a game doing that? Or do we need to play, somebody else? And so that'll be the conversations we've had. But I do think those guys have, throughout the year and even tonight, showed some good moments doing that.
Back to Victor, I know it's early, but are you already planning to rule him out or go forward thinking that he's not going to be available for Game 3?
It's tough. That protocol is the protocol, so we'll just follow it as everyone else does and plan accordingly.